The quiet, manicured lawns of Pinewood Estates were about to become the unlikely battleground for a war of Watts and Wills, a saga sparked by a stolen current and culminating in a satisfyingly engineered comeuppance. At the heart of this suburban tempest was Ethan Bailey, a 35-year-old remote electrical engineer, a man whose Midwestern manners and respect for property were about to collide head-on with the entitled audacity of his new neighbor, Deborah Harrington, and her gleaming white $90,000 Tesla Model X. Ethan, a veteran of the Army Corps of Engineers, where he specialized in power grid systems, had settled into Pinewood Estates seeking peace after his divorce. His meticulously maintained home and quiet routine were soon disrupted by the arrival of Deborah. Her initial welcome basket interaction was a masterclass in condescension. She flaunted her imported Italian marble, her corporate attorney husband William's success, and dismissed Ethan's quaint little house and engineering profession with palpable disdain. This, Ethan later realized, was merely the overture. Within a whirlwind 6 weeks, Deborah, through a potent cocktail of flattery, intimidation, including allegedly threatening to expose a past DUI of the previous HOA VP's son, leading to her resignation, and obscenely expensive wine at her legendary dinner parties, had astonishingly secured the position of HOA vice president. Ethan, content to mind his own business, paid little heed to these HOA machinations until his monthly electric bill arrived, nearly tripling from its usual $150 to a staggering $450. Puzzled and concerned, he meticulously checked his appliances and consulted the power company, but found no explanation. The mystery unraveled one pre-dawn morning thanks to his home security camera. The footage was undeniable. Deborah Harrington, clad in designer pajamas and a silk robe, was caught red-handed, surreptitiously running an extension cord from Ethan's outdoor outlet across their property line to her Tesla, cleverly concealed by HOA-mandated shrubbery. When Ethan confronted her with the crystal-clear video, Deborah's practiced smile didn't crack. She brazenly denied it, then pivoted to criticizing his poorly designed electrical system and, in her newfound HOA VP capacity, threatened him with landscaping violations for his hedges being 2 inches too high. This wasn't just about stolen electricity. It was about power, entitlement, and a blatant disregard for boundaries. Ethan's initial, perfectly reasonable attempts to secure his property, installing lockboxes on his outdoor outlets, were immediately met with an official HOA violation notice for unauthorized exterior modifications. Gregory Palmer, the HOA inspector, a former middle manager now wielding his clipboard like a scepter and rumored to be a beneficiary of Deborah's appreciation happy hours for board members, was unmoved by Ethan's explanation or the security footage, deeming it a private dispute. Ethan's attempt to raise the issue at the next HOA meeting was swiftly shut down by Deborah citing point of order, with the perpetually confused HOA president, Frank, meekly concurring. The true extent of Deborah's audacious plan became clear later that evening. Frank announced Deborah's proposal for community charging stations. Her glossy presentation, touting green energy and increased property values, conveniently omitted that one of the 4 proposed Level 2 stations would be mere yards from her house in a common area adjacent to Ethan's property. A deeper dive into the proposal documents revealed the kicker. The electricity costs for these stations would be billed to the HOA and distributed equally among all residents via monthly dues. Deborah wasn't just stealing from Ethan anymore. She was orchestrating a scheme to make the entire neighborhood pay for her Tesla's voracious appetite for power. Realizing he was facing a formidable and manipulative adversary, Ethan, drawing on his military engineering background where intelligence is paramount, began a thorough investigation. He allied himself with Martha Wilson, a sharp-witted 68-year-old widow and longtime resident who possessed an encyclopedic knowledge of Pinewood Estate's inner workings and a healthy disdain for that Harrington woman. Martha revealed how Deborah had consolidated power, pressuring board members and flattering others like Gregory Palmer. Ethan also connected with Brian and Sarah Thompson, a young couple struggling with rising HOA fees and deeply concerned about the proposed charging stations impacting their family budget. With his new allies, Ethan began building his case. He discreetly installed a power monitoring device, meticulously documenting Deborah's nightly power consumption, an average of 75 kilowatt hours, translating to a significant monthly cost. Brian and Sarah gathered signatures from 23 households opposing the unmetered charging station proposal, while Martha unearthed crucial HOA bylaws. Ethan felt prepared for the next HOA meeting, armed with a comprehensive dossier of evidence. However, the evening before, Martha called with news. The meeting was postponed due to technical issues, but she had seen Deborah's car at President Frank's house. Deborah was clearly working behind the scenes. Frustrated but resolute, Ethan decided on one last attempt at direct communication. He presented his evidence to William, Deborah's corporate attorney husband. William, exuding an air of dismissive wealth and importance, barely glanced at the documentation, brushing off the few dollars of electricity as trivial and urging Ethan to work it out like adults. His condescension was palpable. That afternoon, Deborah confronted Ethan, hissing threats about William's influence and her ability to ruin his remote job or dredge up his military history if he didn't back down. The situation escalated. Ethan noticed formerly friendly neighbors avoiding him. Brian Thompson revealed a smear campaign. Rumors were circulating that Ethan was unstable, obsessed with Deborah, and stalking her, a twisted reinterpretation of his security measures. Support for their cause dwindled. Martha then delivered more bad news. Deborah had convinced the board to authorize enhanced landscaping services near Ethan's property line, complete with daily 7 a.m. noise, the cost to be levied as a special assessment solely on Ethan. This was the breaking point. Ethan retreated to his garage workshop. As an electrical engineer with expertise in power systems, he knew how to protect his property legally and effectively. He decided to design and install a Smart Power Protection System, SPS. This wasn't a crude trap, but a sophisticated, industrial-grade device commonly used to prevent power theft and anomalies. The SPS would detect unauthorized or excessive power usage during unusual hours. Crucially, it featured a 3-stage warning system: visual, flashing lights, and audible beeping that would activate before any protective measures. Only if these warnings were deliberately ignored and dangerous power draw continued would the system create a controlled voltage fluctuation before safely disconnecting the load. Any damage to a connected device would be the direct result of the user overriding clear safety protocols. Ethan spent days meticulously building and programming the SPS, adhering to all National Electrical Code specifications, even consulting a city inspector buddy. He installed it with a clear, professionally printed warning sign: protected by SPS. Authorized use only. Unauthorized use may damage connected devices, complete with standard electrical warning symbols and illumination. He documented the entire installation with time-stamped photos. The morning after installation, Deborah noticed the SPS and the sign, rolling her eyes. An HOA violation for unauthorized signage promptly arrived, but Ethan successfully countered it by citing county regulations requiring safety notifications for electrical systems. For a few days, Deborah avoided the outlet. Then the HOA, under her influence, approved emergency funding for upgraded electrical infrastructure in the common areas, bypassing resident voting. New high-capacity outlets were installed right next to Ethan's property, exactly where Deborah wanted them. That night, She smugly plugged her Tesla into one, waving at Ethan's camera. Ethan expanded his SBS to monitor, but not control, as it wasn't his property. These new community outlets, confirming Deborah was drawing massive power nightly, adding an estimated $500 to the collective HOA bill. Meanwhile, petty violations against Ethan continued. Martha learned Deborah was now planning a $25,000 official Tesla supercharger station, funded by another special assessment, to be introduced at the rescheduled HOA meeting. Reviewing his SBS data, Ethan noted Deborah's aggressive charging habit. She always set her Tesla to draw maximum power immediately, bypassing the car's built-in gentle ramp-up, a practice that could strain the vehicle's battery management system. The SBS's safety protocols were designed to flag precisely such abnormal, potentially damaging usage. Ethan made no changes to these standard industrial protections. The night before the rescheduled HOA meeting, at 1 a.m., Deborah connected her Tesla to her favored community outlet. The SBS detected the immediate, massive power surge. The yellow warning light on the outlet box flashed. A low beep sounded. Deborah, instead of heeding the clear warnings, frowned and defiantly increased the charge rate further, smirking at what she likely perceived as Ethan's impotent attempt to deter her. The SBS, after 3 warning cycles and detecting a dangerously escalating power draw, executed its safety protocol, a controlled voltage fluctuation, then a complete, safe power cut. Ethan's security camera captured Deborah moments later, standing beside her dark Tesla, staring in wide-eyed, horrified disbelief at an error message on its screen. The trap, meticulously and legally set, had sprung. The next morning, a furious Deborah pounded on Ethan's door, screaming that he had destroyed her bricked Tesla. In front of a growing audience of curious neighbors, Ethan calmly explained his professionally installed, certified SBS and its clearly posted warnings. He offered technical documentation and the security footage showing Deborah ignoring the multiple warning signals and then deliberately increasing the power draw, which triggered the safety cutoff. William Harrington arrived, and unlike his wife, he actually read the SBS documentation, his lawyer's mind clearly grasping the implications of the warning system and his wife's actions. As they retreated, Ethan overheard William muttering about the $22,000 repair estimate for the Tesla's battery management system, damage not covered by warranty due to improper charging practices and disregarding safety warnings. The special HOA meeting that week was a spectacle. Record attendance, palpable tension. Ethan, supported by Martha, who came armed with her own meticulously annotated HOA financial records, and the Thompsons, systematically presented his evidence. Videos of Deborah's power theft, power consumption data, proving the $500 monthly cost to the community, the sham emergency electrical upgrades, and a thorough explanation of the SBS, including the clear video of Deborah ignoring its warnings and then defiantly increasing the power draw. Deborah's attempts to dismiss it as character assassination were met with an outpouring of frustration from residents like Brian Thompson, who spoke of having to pull his son from baseball due to the unexplained HOA fee hikes. Martha Wilson moved for Deborah's immediate removal from the board, full restitution of misappropriated funds, around $7,000, and new board elections. The motion passed overwhelmingly. The aftermath was swift. Deborah and William put their house on the market, selling at a loss and relocating. Gregory Palmer resigned. Frank retired early. Brian Thompson was elected the new HOA president, ushering in an era of transparency. Official, individually metered EV charging stations, designed with Ethan's pro bono help, were installed. Ethan declined a board position, but became a technical advisor. The community, freed from Deborah's reign, began to heal and connect. Martha started a community garden. The Thompsons' son rejoined his baseball team. The new neighbors who bought the Harrington house were a breath of fresh air. Ethan Bailey, the quiet engineer, had not only protected his property, but had also dismantled a system of entitlement and abuse, using his specialized knowledge not for malice, but for meticulously engineered justice. The $22,000 Tesla repair bill was Deborah's stupid prize for playing a very stupid game, a costly lesson in respecting boundaries and the undeniable physics of action and reaction, especially when